I love the unhealthiness. All right, your first speaker coming to the stage, ladies and gentlemen, this morning. He is a successful NNU student. Clap it up for that by itself. Clap it up. Travels all over the world. He's a wonderful author. He actually has a guest chapter in Nate's new book that's being released at 11 o'clock. So we're going to be excited about that. But all the way from New York City, I need you to start clapping right now. Start clapping right now. And give it up for Dedaj. Here.
Having a great time? Yeah. Learning a lot? Yeah. Awesome. Anyway, so great to be here. I love it, and I'm really glad to have a chapter in Nate's book. I wrote it on mindset because I believe mindset is the most important thing, and I think Nate and all the other successful people will tell you, you need to work on your mindset, because here's the thing. If you don't have the proper mindset, you can learn all the technical stuff, and you will find a way to blow that money. That is why 80% of lottery winners are broke within 5 years, because they don't have the mindset. They don't know how to handle money up here. So they find a way to spend it, blow it. You probably know a lot of sports players. They've made $100 million and they're bankrupt. You're thinking to yourself, how can you do that? If I had $100 million, there is no way I can do it. But trust me, if you don't have the proper mindset to have that money, you're going to find a way to lose it. So we always stress that you need to work on it on a daily basis. So mindset is critically important. You need to believe that you're capable of it, that you deserve it. Because some of you might have heard from your parents, what am I made of? Money. Money is the root of all evil. It takes money to make money. And if you grow up with those beliefs, you'll subconsciously think that money is a bad thing. So you need to change the mindset and realize that you can do good things with money. There's nothing bad about money. And here's the thing, you might consciously want it, but if subconsciously thinks a bad thing, you're going to find a way to blow. So you need to start working on that mindset, working on it day in and day out. And one of the things you need to do is you need to surround yourself with positive, successful people. Unfortunately, most of the people we often hang out with are very negative. They tell you can't do anything. Do you have negative friends that pull you down? Like you'll spend an hour with them or 2 hours, and after you spend 2 hours with them, don't you feel totally drained and exhausted? Yeah, so you're like, oh man, why am I feeling so tired? And then there's certain people, you spend 6 hours with them, you feel totally rejuvenated, you feel great. Don't you have those kind of friends? Yeah. Right, so those are the kind of people you want to surround yourself with. That's why I come to these events. I've been coming to Nate's events for 3 years now. Probably come, I don't know, at least a dozen of them. Jermaine has a bunch of events that come to them, and one reason is I like to surround myself with successful people. I like to learn from them, I like to spend time with them, and I feed off of their energy. Because Jim Rohn said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So what I want to ask you to do is look at who you're spending your time with. And if you surround yourself with broke people, it's highly unlikely you're going to have a successful life. So try to have some friends that are going to uplift you, bring you up, and support you in your success. Because unfortunately, some of the people we hang out with, they don't want us to succeed. Not because they're mean or bad. It's, number one, they don't see how you can. And the other thing is, if you're at the same level as someone and you want to go to a higher level, it means they have to do one of two things. Number one, either they have to lift themselves, or they have to bring you down. And unfortunately for most people, it's much easier to try to bring you down. So it's very important to surround yourself with people who will uplift you. I will tell you, when it comes to these events, I hang out around Nate and Jermaine and the MNU crew. I feel totally rejuvenated after the weekend, because these guys are always uplifting me. They're always encouraging me to do more of my life, and I just feel so great when I'm around these people. So I want to share a few other things which I think will help you if you want to be more successful in life, and these are the things that have helped me. And one thing I recommend is you have to take 100% responsibility for your life. Now, I want to ask you guys, has there ever been a time where you blame your company, your family, your friends, brothers, kids, for something that went wrong? you didn't get a raise, you didn't make more money. Have you ever blamed anyone for your problems?
Yes.
Right. And the reason is, this goes back to the Garden of Eden. When the fall happened, what happened? Adam blamed Eve. Eve blamed the serpent. No one took responsibility, and nothing has changed. When something goes wrong, we rarely say, what did I do wrong? We usually say, it's my boss's fault. It's the president's fault. It's the governor's fault. It's my spouse's fault. But very often do we tend to look at who's usually the one most responsible, and that's yourself. And the thing is, when you don't take responsibility for yourself, 100% responsibility, it weakens you. Because you don't have what's called an internal locus of control. You feel that everything that can be good, that can make you successful, is outside of you. And because you feel powerless, you don't take any action. So what you need to do is you need to take 100% responsibility, because when you do that, you start realizing, I can do something about this. I can take action. I can come up with a solution to this problem. Now, this is something we all struggle with. I struggled with this for many years. When I was in the corporate world, I would get angry when I didn't get a raise or a promotion. I always blamed the company or my boss's boss. I just felt like there was a patronage system. There was nepotism. They just liked their own people. There was nothing I could do. But one year, I got my review, and my boss asked a bunch of the people I interact with, they said in the review, Victor's a great worker, he has a great attitude, we love dealing with Victor, he gets everything done on time. One area for improvement is, when Victor runs reports for us, we would like him to give additional commentary. Now, what I did not realize at the time was, I did everything I was asked to do, but they wanted me to give more value. Now, my mindset at the time was, when they give me more money, I will give them the extra value. What I did not realize was, I need to give them extra value first before I would get the extra money. And that's where it cost me raises, promotions, and bonuses. And I did the same thing when I started working online. I just did the work. I didn't take 100% responsibility. When someone didn't join me, I would say, okay, it's the fault of the company. They didn't help me. Their training stunk. The people are too lazy. They're too cheap. And I joined a bunch of different companies, and I failed at a number of them. And again, I was always blaming someone else, but there was only one common factor. What was that common factor? Anyone?
You.
Me, exactly. So there was something wrong in what I was doing. I wasn't taking full responsibility. I needed to change my mindset. I needed to shift my paradigm. I had to realize, what did I need to do differently? Because I was putting my power in other people, other companies. I needed to shift the power and put it to myself. And when I started looking inward and realized I needed to take different actions, I started looking for solutions, and then things changed, because I would realize I have power over this. And realize, when things happen, usually you play a part in this. If you're always late for work, is it the traffic that makes you late, or is it the fact you didn't leave a half hour early? Your boss is going to say you need to leave earlier. He doesn't want to hear any excuses. So always figure out, what part did I play in this? Because no matter what happens, you have responsibility for it. I was being interviewed the other day on a show, and this guy, we were talking about this, and he says, yeah, he forgot his earphones, his Apple earphones, and when he left, he came back from it, and he found that his dog chewed it, and he got angry, but then he realized, you know what? I was at fault too, because I should not have left him there. So he came to realize that he had responsibility for what happened to him. So if you want to be successful, take 100% responsibility, because it's going to make you have an inward locus of control. You're going to become solution oriented, and you're going to take actions. You're going to do things that are going to make you more successful. Again, we talked about mindset, work on your mindset. Believe it's possible. Believe in yourself. Very often, a lot of people, you will not take actions because you don't believe it's possible. And if you don't believe it's possible, you're not going to do it. But many of the things that we think are not possible are possible. It's just that we've trained ourselves, or other people have told us it's not possible. Have you ever had someone tell you, don't bother doing it, you can't do it?
Yep.
Absolutely. And very often, we've not taken action on it because of those beliefs by other people. But very often, those people, while sometimes they might mean well, they're usually people who haven't done much with their lives. They haven't succeeded. So because they can't see it for themselves, they can't see it for you. So you have to realize things that other people say are not possible, it's only because no one's done it before. That doesn't mean it's not possible. Before 1954, the common belief was no one could run the mile in 4 minutes. But there was a man from England named Roger Bannister. He believed he could do it, so he started practicing it every day. He visualized in his mind every day, running the mile in under 4 minutes, and sure enough, this guy ran the mile in under 4 minutes. 6 weeks later, he and another man named John Lundy both ran the mile in under 4 minutes. And since then, hundreds and thousands of people have run in under 4 minutes, including people from high school. It was only impossible because people said it was. But when someone decided it wasn't, it became possible. And that's the way it is with most things. There was a guy named George Danzig, 1939. He was late for a statistics class. He saw these two problems, he thought they were homework problems. So he copied them and worked on them for several days and handed them in. A few weeks later, his professor comes to his door and says, wow, this is amazing. Those are two problems that you solved. I put them up because I said these problems were unsolvable. Now, George did not know these problems were unsolvable, which is why he worked on them. And he was able to solve them. Because no one told him it was not solvable, he was able to solve these problems. And he admitted that if he had heard the professor say these problems could not be solved, he probably would not have worked on these problems. So realize, very often when people say it's not possible, it's because they don't see how it can be done. But if you believe it can be done, you will work on finding a way. And many people that have been successful have done it, even though certain people told them it can't be done, but because they believed in themselves, they visualized themselves succeeding, they were able to come up with a way to succeed. Another thing I would recommend is consistency. You need to work on whatever you want, whatever your goal is, day in and day out. You can't work on it for 2 or 3 days, wait a week, work on it for a couple of days, and then wait. You gotta do it day in and day out, because success is not built in a day. It is built daily. All these people you see that are successful, many people think they're overnight successes. It's not true. Most of them struggle for years, sometimes 10, 15 years, but they built that proper foundation. When you build that proper foundation, you can accomplish anything. It's like a house. A house needs to have a proper foundation. Otherwise, if it has a shaky foundation, one storm can knock it down. But when you work on yourself, when you build that foundation yourself, when you work on your personal development, you'll be able to handle just about any challenge. You can be in a company, it can go under, it can go bankrupt, it can be shut down by the government. But it's okay, because you can take your talents elsewhere. You can take it to another company, or you can start your own company, because you have that proper foundation, that proper personal development. That means listening to trainings, listening to videos, reading books every single day. It is very important. Jim Rohn said, work harder on yourself than on your job. If you work harder on your job, you can make a living. But if you work hard on yourself, you can make a fortune. So every successful person works on that personal development because they know it could take them anywhere. That's why sometimes you'll see these people that are multimillionaires. They lose the money, but then like a year later, they make it back. Why? Because they have that personal development. They develop themselves, and because of that, they had that millionaire mindset. They were able to get that money right back. So personal development and mindset is extremely important. Focus is also extremely important. When you start off, you need to focus on one thing at a time. When I started, I joined like 5 companies at once. How many of those companies do you think I made money in? Zero, exactly. Instead of multiple streams of income, I had multiple streams of debt. I was paying $30, $50 in each company, and I was doing work in none of them because there were like 5 companies, and I got paralyzed. It overwhelmed me, and I couldn't focus. And information overload is actually one of the biggest causes of failure. So if you're going to start in a company or start on one form of income, just focus on one stream. So many of you are here for e-commerce. Focus on e-commerce. Don't join an MLM company, an affiliate marketing company, some other company. If you want to add a stream later, that's fine, but make sure you master one stream first. You're making some good money in it before you add anything else. Because focus is really the way to make money. You can't do 5 things at once. you're not going to be as productive. They've done many studies on this. One of the problems is when you try to do 5 tasks at once, you lose momentum. Because you work on a task for, say, an hour, and you switch to another task, you lose that momentum. And then you start on a third task, again, you lose momentum. So when you go back to the first task, it's almost like you're starting from the beginning again. But if you work on that one task, and you work on straight through, you have that momentum going on, and you get it done much more quickly. So that's why you should work on one task at a time. And you need to be persistent. In Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, he talks about how this guy and his uncle, R.U. Darby, they were mining for gold. And they were mining and mining for a while, and they gave up. And he sold it to some other guy who hired some civil engineer who did some research, and he found out that the person who sold it to them quit just 3 feet from the gold. And they just dug an extra 3 feet, he would have gotten a lot of gold and a lot of money. But because he gave up, he lost all that money. So the new guy made all that money. But that guy who found out about his mistake, he learned from that mistake. He wound up becoming one of the most successful insurance salesmen in the country because he learned the value of persistence. He said he was never going to give up 3 feet from the goal. And very often, a lot of people give up just when they're right about to become successful. So if you're struggling in e-commerce, you've been working 2, 3, 4 weeks and you're not making any money, try a little bit longer. Try another month or 2 or 3, because you have stories that we've been hearing all weekend. People struggle, and now they're making 6 figures, 7 figures, all because that hard work paid off. They did not give up because they trusted the process, and eventually it paid off. And that's another thing. You have to be willing to pay the price. A lot of people love the idea of making money, they love the idea of success, but they don't love the work you have to put in, all the effort, all the time. But guess what? You're not going to join a new system, press a button, and $10,000 is going to come out. You have to be willing to pay the price and put in the effort. Many of you are probably familiar with Michael Phelps, right? Yeah, the Olympic swimmer, won 22 gold medals. 22 medals. I don't know how many of them were gold, but altogether 22 medals. This guy practiced 6 hours a day, over 300 days a year. 6 days a week, 6 hours a day, for many years, 300 days a year. He also practiced 3 hours a week doing weightlifting to give him that extra explosiveness. He did this for many years. Most people are not willing to do that, but he was willing to pay the price. He put in all that time and effort, and he was able to win all those medals. All these people that you succeed put in many, many hours, many, many years. They were willing to pay the price. And you have to ask yourself, am I willing to pay the price? Do I really want that success? If you want that success, you gotta be willing to pay the price. You might have to give up some things. You might have to give up watching some of those TV shows you like, or hanging out with some of your friends, going to the movies, having dinner with some of your friends. But is it worth the price? That's a question you need to ask yourself. For me it is, and I think for many of you, it is worth paying the price. Be willing to pay the price. Another thing you have to realize is you need to reject rejection. A lot of people are afraid of rejection because they think if someone says no to them, they've lost something, but it's actually a miss. So here's the thing. If I'm in a business opportunity, I ask someone to join me, before I ask them, I had know my business opportunity. If they say yes, I have a new person in my business. If they say no, I had known my business before I asked them, and I still have known my business before I asked them. So I cannot lose anything, right? So think about that. It's like sometimes someone's afraid to ask someone for a date. If I ask a girl for a date to have dinner with me, if she says yes, I have someone to have dinner with me. But if she says no, guess what? I had no one to have dinner with me before I asked her, and I still have no one to have dinner with after I asked her. I didn't lose anything. It is only a problem if I say to myself, yeah, mom was right, no one will ever like me. But in general, you're never going to lose anything. You are at worst the same position as you were before. What's another thing that stops people from taking action? Fear, exactly. And why is that? Because we imagine all these things that most of the time we think about it, 90% of the things we fear never come true. Fear stands for false evidence appearing real. And 90% of the things you think about it never happen. Like, when I was in school, I imagined if I did badly on the exam, my life was over. But you know what? When I took the exam, I moved on, I went to college, I got a job, I moved on. Or if my girl rejected me, I thought my life was over. Guess what? Even if she said no, I moved on, I did meet someone else. So, but think about it, most of the things you fear never happen. So don't let fear get the best of you. You're actually born with only two fears. The fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. Every other fear that you have, those are fears that you developed. So realize something. Don't let fear get the best of you. You know what's the best way to overcome fear? Just feel the fear and take action on it. Action overcomes fear. Take action on your fears. You do that, you'll see that most of those fears will be easily overcome, because anything you take action on, you're gonna get better at. I used to be afraid of doing videos, but then I did a 90-day video challenge. Guess what? My first few days, I was a little fearful, I put them out, but as I kept doing the videos, I got more confident and I got better at it. So, as I took action on them, I just got better at it. You will find that anything you take action on, you'll get better at, you will overcome them, and that fear will go away. So take action on the fear and you'll definitely overcome. So those are my tips. I hope you got a lot of value from these things. Take action, and that's the final thing. Take action. Don't procrastinate. You need to take action. Take action constantly. Take consistent action all the time. Be persistent, and you're going to do great in life. So thank you all very much.